Dragapult has proven to be one of the most polarizing cards in the current format. On one hand, everything I see on Reddit absolutely hates it and tears it to shreds. Some people just want to chill and test new decks on TCG Live, which can be really annoying when someone is constantly sniping the things you're trying to set up. On the other hand, the competitive community doesn't seem too worried about it. It's listed as the 8th most popular deck on Limitless TCG because it struggles against the heftier decks like Raging Bolt, Charizard, or even Terrapagos when played with Bouffalon. Either way, since playing this deck just a few weeks ago, I've gotten quite a few requests to give it an update. People really just like reasons to use Charizard while still being able to snipe things on the bench, so today we'll be giving this deck an update in the Surging Sparks format. So welcome back to another video, and Surging Sparks is interesting because it didn't knock many decks out of the current meta, but it introduced a bunch of new tools and a couple new Pokemon that we need to look out for. So this deck isn't really all that different than it was a few weeks ago when I first tried it. I think I added a Night Stretcher, which wasn't something that was new in Surging Sparks, but something that I didn't put in this deck previously. But some of the new stuff is like the Tera Orb. So you're able to search your deck for a Tera Pokemon. Both Charizard and Dragapult are Tera Pokemon, so that saves us from having to discard some things using Ultra Ball. So good to have a couple of those. I feel like you might be able to get away with one in this deck, but I put two in. I use it a lot in the games that you'll see coming up here soon, so definitely worth it to add a few Tera Orbs. There's also Gravity Mountain, which takes away 30 HP from any Stage 2 Pokemon, and that's interesting in this deck, seeing that both of our main attackers, and our Pidgeot, are all Stage 2 attackers, so we'll have to be careful with how we use this because it can help us win if we are playing against another Charizard. It can bring them down to 300 HP to make them easier to knock out, but it can also be used against us, so we'll want to save this for towards the end of the game so we're not helping our opponent against us. We do still have our cards like Briar in here because we're using a couple of Tera Pokemon, a couple of our supporters like Arvin, Ionos, all the staples, Professor Turos, because we have a lot of liabilities in this deck, Forest Seal Stone, Sparkling Crystal. If you want to see the setup we talked about, please go back and watch the last video, I'll link it here. But today we're just going to jump into some of the things that are new and see how this deck fares in the current format. And for a few honorable mentions in this deck, we'll start with Crispin. Crispin's usually really helpful in Dragapult because you can get a couple different types of energies to attach all in one turn. The reason I didn't include it in this deck is because we're using Charizard. So Charizard's going to already accelerate some energy to your bench, and I don't find myself needing it as much when I'm using like an Arvin or something on the same turn. So that's why I didn't include Crispin, but that could definitely be included in this deck. And for some other Pokemon I've seen in this deck, I've seen Radiant Alakazam in here to help manipulate some bench damage. Sometimes 60 damage that you're putting on a bench isn't quite enough. You need to get to 70 or a little bit more, and Radiant Alakazam can help with that. Or even Hawlucha. And Hawlucha will let you put one damage counter on two different Pokemon, so you can help get to 70 if you're using this in conjunction with Dragapult. So I've seen that in the Regidrago deck a bunch of times, but it could also be useful here. And one last trainer card is Canceling Cologne. So if you ever come up across a Mimikyu or a Cornerstone Ogerpon or something like that, you can turn off that ability and be able to attack them for the turn. Just helpful for getting around an obstacle like that throughout the game. And here is the full deck list. We'll pause here for a moment so you can take your screenshots and check things out. Make sure you test these things a little bit, move cards in, take cards out, find what works best for you. And as always, if this sort of thing is helpful, please leave a like. We're gonna move our like goal up to 25 for this video. I think I asked for 20 on the last video and it got over 60 at my last counting. So thank you for all that crazy support. I think people are just head over heels for Surging Sparks, so it's a fun time to play some of these decks. And of course, if you find yourself here often, please consider subscribing. So from here, we'll jump into a couple games. Okay, so we're starting out game number 1 with a Pidgey and a Dreepy, which is fine. I'd love a way to get, a Rotom or some more Pokemon on the bench, but we're playing a Uxie. So I don't know if this is that mechanic from Surging Sparks where if you have all three of the Late Guardian trio on the bench, they team up in some way. I'm not too familiar with what we're playing against here, but looks like Uxie will do 2 damage counters to your opponent's Pokemon, and a Combee here as well. So honestly, not too worried about these opening turns here. But yeah, I would love to get a little bit more going in this next turn, and Iono will hopefully help us do that. So they're going to go ahead and get some energy. Playing Arvin. Yeah, as far as I know, they're just going to put a couple damage counters on me here, maybe get out a few more Pokemon with a Buddy Poffin. Oh, maybe, yep, there's Rotom if they're going to use that Forest Seal Stone. We'll see what they go for from here. I'm interested to see, what their main win condition is here. There's the Buddy Poffin. So I wonder if that'll be more of the Late Guardian trio or a Pineco, a shiny Pineco, and a Combee. which is interesting. So Combee is in range for Dragapult. We'll see what our top deck is. Maybe a Buddy Poffin. No, a Dragapult. Okay, so we'll start out with our Pidgeot here. And I feel like we could do more if we can get to a Dragcloak instead of going straight with the Dragapult. So we'll save our Pidgeot, search for a moment, and just Iono, see what else we can get. Hopefully we'll get that Dragapult back or a different one. Okay, we didn't, but we can put some more Dreepy down. We'll probably need a couple, as well as we'll want to get a Rotom going, because I don't know that we're going to attack on this turn. We'll see what we're able to get. What else is in the deck? We have 2 Dragcloak, a couple of our supporters, only 2 rare candies, so that's good to keep in mind that we're low on some rare candy. We do have our Sparkling Crystal and our Forest Seal Stone, and low on Fire Energy as well. So we have both our Psychics. Okay, well, we'll just go with our Rotom here. Trying to decide if I will put this 3rd one down. I have the bench space for it. I'm not going to need the other Pidgey. Okay, we'll do our quick search. Go ahead and get our Dragcloak going like we mentioned before and see what options that gives to us. Diversify some energy here and do our Recon Directive. All right, sure. It's kind of forcing me to go Charizard here, which sometimes I wouldn't do until later in the game, but it's here, so why not? And we'll go ahead and instant charge, and we'll be hopefully set up for the next turn. Gravity Mountain I don't think will do too much for us now, and a little too late on Buddy Poffin. But yeah, I don't think my Pidgeot's in too much trouble here. I could have retreated it and just sacrificed, you know, a Dragapult or that Charmander or something, which I don't think I need to, though. I don't think they're going to take out this Pidgeot. We'll see what direction they decide to go with here. Attaching a Grass Energy. And what else are they going to pull out with a Nest Ball? A Duskull, interesting. Okay, they're just going to go with Painful Memories again. Toss a couple damage counters. I don't know if this game will be long enough for that to do anything, because after this turn, we should be pretty good to go. But well, yeah, of course, with our Arven, we'll take a rare candy. It's a nice card to get in Arven here. And then, yeah, definitely rare candy. I'm trying to just think of the sequencing I want to do this in. We'll grab our Forest Seal Stone so that we can put that on our Rotom and have another way to search. And then from here we can get a Dragapult, and then we can start getting our Sparkling Crystal or another energy so we can do our attack. We'll do Recon Directive first to see what it gives us. I always gotta remember to do this first. Oh, either Dragapult or Dragapult. So a really tough choice there. But we did need one of those, so that's perfect. That's why you Recon Directive first. We'll get that in play. We definitely will have an attack here so we can get Pidgeot out of the way. And then we can work on our Sparkling Crystal. So Forest Seal Stone all the way here to the end. Do I want to do an energy? There's no energy in my hand, but I think Sparkling Crystal is where we start. Maybe get to this energy later. Okay, so we still have our Pidgeot to use. We'll go ahead and quick search here. And I think since we don't have a lot of rare candy, we'll just get our Charmeleon. So on the next turn, we can just jump over straight to our Charizard. Yeah, Manaphy won't work because I think it's damage counters, but let's see. Yeah, it's not an attack, it's damage counters, so Manaphy won't stop what that's trying to do. We're gonna knock it out anyways, but just in case they had another one. So yeah, we'll go ahead and put Charmeleon down, and I think we'll get rid of that Duskull. Could be a Combee. We'll put down another Dreepy. Yeah, we'll Phantom Dive, get rid of the Duskull so that can't hurt us. And we're set up pretty well here. So yeah, still not really 100% sure what they're going for, but we have our Dragapult set up. We're about to have a Charizard set up. We have Pidgeot for more search. Arven's great. And a counter catcher, even though we're now behind on prize cards. And we'll see what they want to do. Oh, concede. I think maybe that's why people don't like this deck. Whatever they're trying to set up, we just got in the way of. Okay, and for our next game, we're starting out with a Rotom V, which is a bummer. I don't want to start with that 2-prizer. At least we'll have it to instant charge, but we don't have much we can do in our hand right now, so this top deck will hopefully save us. Charizard, no. Okay, we don't want to use any of that. We're just going to instant charge, and that is a terrible start. An instant charge doesn't really help us either with another Dragcloak and some other things we can't quite use yet. So that's rough. Joltik on the other side. I believe we'll turn into Galvantula, and I see a Pikachu. Okay, so another Surging Sparks card, and that's scary because Pikachu does 300 damage. We can't, if it's, you know, untouched, we can't knock it out in one hit, which normally Dragapult would do 200 damage, but that'll get down or knocked down to 190 after we do our attack. At least Joltik only has 30 HP, so if they don't evolve those to the Galvantula quick enough, we could take out 2 of them. Yeah, so they'll allow you to attach energy to your bench Pokemon. So they can use Crispin and they use Joltik to start powering up this Pikachu here. So if we don't get something down here pretty soon, we could be in trouble. I think luckily Pikachu has to discard its energy after it attacks. Okay, so they'll use their attack to get some more energy here. And then again, hopefully our top deck will save us, otherwise we'll have to find an Iono or something with our Lumineon. Looks like they're taking a while. Yeah, Topaz Bolt does 300. All right, so they have plenty of energy attached now. Fire energy. Oh, this is a rough start. Yeah, we gotta go Lumineon. Use this to get our Iono. Yeah, now we're 2 turns behind. They're probably gonna hop in and knock out this Rotom, but we gotta put something down. All right, Iono, help us out a little bit. Also gives them 6 new cards. Not great. Okay, a couple Dreepy, 4 Seal Stone can get us something. And Gravity Mountain. We won't want to touch Gravity Mountain in this matchup. We'll use Star Alchemy, but yeah, the Pikachu does 300, Charizard here does 330, or has 330 HP. We'll just grab a Pidgey and put that down. Looks like we have our Sparkling Crystal and all of our energy. All right, so yeah, we'll put that down for now. We'll get to Charmander later. We'll instant charge for the best, but yeah, again, Gravity Mountain, we won't want to touch because that does nothing to them. Pikachu is just a basic Pokemon, but it'll lower Charizard to 300 HP and Dragapult to 290, both of which get knocked out by Pikachu's attack. So we're not touching Gravity Mountain. Be a good one to discard with Ultra Ball. We have an Arvin, so yeah, we can get to a Pidgeot in the next turn. I'm assuming they're going to retreat and a Sparkling Crystal. Okay, so they're getting ready for Galvantula's attack as well. I believe one of its attacks does additional damage to maybe EX Pokemon or something like that, so we'll have to watch out for that. They're going to get some more with Buddy Buddy Poffin. But yeah, so we'll lose the Rotom, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll be able to... So we'll get a Pidgeot. Maybe that'll help us get to a Dragapult and take a shot at Pikachu and then knock out some things on the bench. Okay, another Joltik. So yeah, I have a feeling we'll be able to knock out 2 Joltik. And then hopefully they'll have a tougher time getting more energy attachments for Pikachu. So there is a path here. Okay, so they're just going to go with an attack with Joltik, which is surprising. I thought they would start attacking here. With Pikachu, that is. I'm going to take out the Rotom, but they're not going to do that. So that is surprising. Collapse Stadium. Maybe not a bad idea. If I put something else down, I could get rid of Lumineon. But we'll just start with our Dragcloak. And see what we get from this. Okay, Tera Orb will help us get the Dragapult. So that's not bad. But we do have the pieces we need to get to our Pidgeot. Okay, so let's do that. Let's start with Arvin. Rare Candy. Sparkling Crystal, so we got our energy situation happening here. And then, yeah, from here we'll want to go ahead and get our Pidgeot. Sorry, I'm just thinking through the sequencing of it. Okay, we'll get rid of Collapse Stadium, I guess. Not the biggest deal, we can Turo away the Lumineon later. And I kind of want to leave their bench because there's many snipeable things, so I don't want them to get rid of a lot of that stuff. That was the change in heart there. We have our Pidgeot. And then from here we can get our Dragapult, Sparkling Crystal. I think we'll be one energy short, unfortunately. We also have to switch the Rotom out of the active, so we're not going to be able to get an attack here. Yeah, I don't think we've discarded any energy that Night Stretcher would be able to grab, unfortunately. So we'll just go ahead and get set up here. This does possibly mean we could lose this Dragapult. Again, if they're able to, if they put down a Gravity Mountain and are able to boss up our Dragapult. So this is a little bit dangerous, but I think we just got to get going here. We'll instant charge again. Ideally, okay, there's an energy and a vacuum if you want to get rid of their Sparkling Crystal. I don't know if that's really too important at the moment, but ideally they'll knock out Rotom on this turn, and then we can just hop in. Man, they have a bunch of energy on that Pikachu though. More energy on the Joltik. All right, I'm not super upset with Iono here. We get a Charmander that we can put down. A Counter Catcher is good if they do knock us out. I guess we'd want to attack into that Pikachu anyways to start putting damage on it. This could be tricky, but we'll see what we go with. Here's the switch. And here comes the Big Boom attack. Yeah, there's Gravity Mountain. Okay, let's see if they have... Oh, they used Iono, so they're not... Okay. I was worried they would boss orders or something, but they used Iono, so they can't do that. They'll just take out the Rotom, lose 3 energy. So they'll definitely have an attack next turn with Pikachu. But yeah, we'll have to get some Pokemon off the bench here and maybe make it more difficult for them to attack in the future. They're going through a lot of energy. I don't know what they have to get energy back, but we'll put down our Charmander. Recon Directive to see what we can get from this. Tough choice. We'll take a Fire Energy. We'll make our attachment. I think, do I want to attack into something else? No, it doesn't matter because everything gets knocked out either way, so it doesn't really matter what we attack into here because we're not knocking out Pikachu. But we'll get our Professor Turo to take another 2-prizer off the bench just so there's no easy snipe later on. And that does nothing for us now. Okay, and then we'll put down... Manaphy isn't really needed. Yeah, we'll put down just a couple things just in case. And we'll make our attack with Phantom Dive. Okay, so yeah, we'll definitely take out this Joltik. Then we'll take out another one. I guess we'll go with the Grass Energy. Why not? So we get 2 prize cards. Pikachu will stay alive with just a couple HP. That ability is quite annoying. But yeah, if I didn't bump my own stadium before, I could have gotten rid of this Gravity Mountain. Or if I had my Lost Vacuum, that could help too. They're going to go for some more energy with Earthen Vessel. But yeah, energy-wise, we might need to move into a Charizard on the next turn. Just because it'll take a second to set up a few energy on Dragcloak or Dragapult when we get that evolved. But yeah, for energy acceleration purposes, it might be good to go into a Charizard next. All right, there's the Galvantula. Putting that down. Let's see. Yeah, Pokemon EX or V, it does an extra 110, so it'll do 220. Okay, they'll do 180 with its second move. So Pidgeot's definitely going to be a target from Galvantula here. We knew Dragapult was gone, but now they have no energy on Pikachu, so we can knock out Pikachu. Yeah, the energy situation will be tough. So we'll just go with Charmander because we know we can definitely get to a Charizard attack. I think they'll have a tough time getting Pikachu set up once again. So we're just going to go with a couple searches with Drakloak here. Nice. Okay, we'll take a boss's orders. I think that Galvantula might be what we want to take out next because they have an attack there that will take out my Pidgeot. And then Pikachu, they'll have some work to do to get all of the energy they need. All right, I guess Kieran. Kieran can do an extra 40 damage or can switch out a Pokemon if we need it. All right, so from here, don't think Defiance Band. We have plenty of damage at this point, so don't need that. Lumineon could be good for a supporter, but it's also just a bench liability against an all-electric deck. So we'll evolve here. Get a couple energies down. This will make it easier to use Dragapult in the future as well, because we'll put one over there. Okay, they do have 2 prize cards remaining. So we could also use Briar. That counter catcher saves us the boss's orders, which is nice. Can we attach for the future? Yeah, we have plenty of damage here. I think we Briar here, so then we don't need to worry about Pikachu in the future in case they do something funny. But yeah, if we do this, we'll take an extra prize card, and then we can just boss one of those Magnemites for game. So Briar coming in handy here to make sure we don't have to worry about Pikachu. They could always pick that up off the board or something. Looks like they're going to go forward with it. Yeah, if they can take out Charizard here if they want to with Gravity Mountain down. Use Tera Orb to get another Pikachu. Okay, so that again, they're probably going to move that into the active. Bianca's Devotion. Okay, so they have a couple Pikachu here, but do they have the energy? I don't think they do with no Joltik to help them from previous attacks. And that's it. Yep, that'll be game. We have boss in hand. They didn't Iono us or anything. And Briar came in clutch here. So instead of having to take a 2-turn KO, we just take out one of these. Awesome. So thank you to Briar. So still a fun deck. Those are the updates from Surging Sparks. Make sure to check out one of these other videos. If you're feeling like it, it helps out the channel a lot. And if not, we'll see you in the next one.